Hey friends, today we are making these gorgeous roses inside a crochet vase with no wires or glue needed. It's the perfect handmade gift or home decor piece. We're kicking things off with the main rows using our H8 hook. Start by chaining 39. For row 1, we are creating our V-stitches. Work a double crochet into the 6th chain from your hook. That initial loop counts as your first double crochet and chain 2 gap. Now we will skip 2 chains, work a double crochet, chain 2 and another double crochet all into the next chain. Repeat this all the way across until you have 12 V-stitches. Here I am pointing the V-stitches that you'll be working each shell stitch into for row 2. I have already turned my work, ready to begin. Start by slip stitching right into the first chain 2 gap. Chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, then work 4 more double crochets into the same space. To anchor it down, single crochet into the back loop only of the next stitch. Then work 5 double crochets into the next gap. We will then repeat the single crochet and then 5 double crochets into the next gap until we create 12 beautiful petals. Once you are done, leave a long tail, about 16.5 inches long. We'll then roll our rows. Make sure the bottom edge lines up completely flat so it doesn't turn into a cone shape. As you can see here, I am rolling it upside down to make sure the bottom edges line up flat. Now thread your needle with the tail and sew securely through all the base layers to make sure that your rose does not come apart. Once your rose is all secure, make sure both tails are at the bottom of the rose. Use your needle to thread it to the bottom if it is not. Then tie the tails together with a double knot to secure everything in place, and then you can cut off the tails. Next up, we will be doing the greenery. For the sepal, we'll start by making a 10 single crochet magic ring and then working star points to create a realistic cup for our flower. You can use a G6 or H8 hook for the sepal, depending if you want it smaller or bigger. I am using a H8 hook here. Make sure to join your magic ring with a slip stitch. Now chain 5, slip stitch in the second chain, single crochet in the chain after this one, then half double crochet in the next stitch, then double crochet in the next stitch, skip one on the base, slip stitch in this next stitch. We will repeat this a total of 5 times. So again, chain 5, slip stitch in the second chain, single crochet in the chain after this one, then half double crochet in the next stitch, then double crochet in the next stitch, skip one on the base, slip stitch in this next stitch. Once you have gone round for a total of 5 times, we will then begin fastening off. To start the leaf, we will chain 12. You can use a US G6 or H8 hook for the leaves, depending if you want it smaller or bigger. I am using a H8 hook here. Working down, we would do a single crochet in the second chain, then a half double crochet in the next stitch, then a double crochet in the next stitch, then one triple crochet into each of the next 5 stitches, then one double crochet in the next stitch, then one half double crochet in the next stitch. Then we will do 3 single crochets in the last chain to turn. Then we will work up the other side with a half double crochet, then a double crochet in the next stitch. Then we will do 1 triple crochet into each of the next 5 stitches, then a double crochet into the next stitch, then a half double crochet into the next stitch, then a single crochet into that last stitch. We will then fasten off, and you can repeat this to make 2 leaves. For the stalk, start by making a magic ring with 5 single crochets. I will be using a smaller US G6 hook here. We will then work 5 single crochets in continuous rounds. There will be no joining with a slip stitch until the end to close off and fasten. For the stalk, continue until it reaches about 7 inches tall, which is approximately round 20. It's way easier to measure the height here than to count those tiny tight rounds. Slip stitch at the end and then fasten off. Now it's time to assemble our flower. We're starting by sewing the sepal to the base of the flower, going all the way around. Once the base is secure, you'll want to add a few quick stitches to each of the sepal points to attach them flat against the flower petals. This keeps them perfectly in place, they don't flop over. After that, just weave in your ends and fasten off. Next up, we need to connect our stem to the sepal. Just go all the way around, connecting the stem to the center of that sepal. Here's a favorite little shortcut. We're actually going to be using these long yarn tails as stuffing for the stem. It keeps the stem nice and firm, and it saves you from having to weave them in. For the top tail, sew it down as much as you can, and then do the exact same thing for the bottom tail. I like to guide them so both tails end up coming out of the same hole, then just double knot them together and trim the ends. Then use your needle to push that knot right inside the stem to hide it. Next, we're attaching the leaf to the stem. Because this is a wire-free pattern, I'm adding a few extra stitches through the top of the leaf into the stem to prevent drooping. I also like to sew the very top of the leaf against the sepal for extra support so it stays perfectly in place. You will then repeat these exact same steps for the other leaf on the opposite side of the stem. If you want to create a gorgeous little set, you can go ahead and repeat this all over again for a second flower. Now let's jump into the vase. We're starting with a magic ring of 6 and increasing evenly until round 6 leave us with 36 stitches. For this, I will be working in joined rounds. That means at the end of every single round, you'll slip stitch into your first stitch and chain 1 to start the next layer. I like using join rounds here because it keeps the rows perfectly level so our vase sits straight. But if you prefer a seamless look, feel free to work in continuous spiral rounds instead. Round 7 is where the magic happens. Work your single crochets into the back loops only, This creates a sharp, clean ridge that allows the vase to sit completely flat on a table. Now we do a quick increase round, which helps create that bowl shape. Now we will taper back down to 24 stitches, which will help form an elegant, slender neck. For the decrease, here's how to do it. Insert your hook into the front loop only of the stitch. Then insert your hook into the front loop only of the following stitch. Yarn over and pull through both front loops. Now you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over again and pull through both loops. That's your invisible decrease. It helps keep the stitches smooth and less noticeable. To give the rim a beautiful border, round 22 uses half double crochets. This gives us the third loop we need for round 23. Tilt the vase towards you and look just below that top V on the back side to find the horizontal bar. We'll be inserting a hook only under this horizontal bar for all of our single crochets. To finish up, you can do a standard slip stitch like I did here, or for an even cleaner look, at the back you can use an invisible join, which will be covered in the video that I will link right here. Then fasten off. After that, you'll just weave in your ends. Fold that top edge down and enjoy that stunning texture. Next, we're going to use some stuffing to help the vase hold its full shape. I'm just partially filling it right now so you can see the shape form on camera, but we'll finish stuffing it properly later once we put the flowers in. Now let's dress up our vase with an adorable structured bow. First is the main bow loop. Chain 21, then single crochet in each chain starting from the second chain from the hook. Then chain 1, turn, and single crochet in each stitch across, and we will create a rectangle after 6 rows. When you are done, fasten off and leave a long tail for sewing. We then need to crochet an additional 3 pieces, the ribbon tails, a tiny 2-row center band, and finally a longer chain of 34 single crochets that will wrap entirely around the neck of the vase. Please see the screen for instructions, but again, it's just making the rectangles like we did for the bow loops. Now we will sew together the 2 short ends of the bow loops to form a flat circle. Doing it this way gives the bow good structural integrity, so it stays nice and puffy. When done, I decided to double knot and cut off the yarn instead of weaving, as we will hide the seam at the back. Make sure you keep the seam at the back to assemble the bow. We will fold the ribbon tail in half and place it on the back of the bow loop, where the seam is, so it stays completely hidden. Now pinch the bow loop right in the center to create that classic bow shape. Then wrap your tiny center band around both pieces. Turn it over and then we will tie a secure double knot at the back with the tails from the center band. To finish the bow unit, take your long vase chain and tie it to the back of the bow with another double knot. This just makes it a little bit easier so we don't have to sew as much, as this part will be hidden. Now grab your completed chain and place it securely around the neck of the vase. Wrap it around the back where you'll sew the two ends together to secure them to the vase. If you want extra security, you can choose to sew the chain all the way around so it doesn't move at all. But I was happy with how securely it sat just like this. To finish this step, I just double knotted the yarn, snipped the ends, and hid the knot at the back. It's totally invisible and saves sewing time. At the front, I used the remaining yarn tails to sew the bow directly to the vase to help lock it into position. I also added a couple of tiny hidden stitches to attach the bow tails to the bow loop. This holds them right where I want them. I also took a moment here just to weave in some of the ends. After looking at it, I felt like my two tails were sitting a bit too far apart, so I added a few quick stitches to bring them closer together and set them permanently in place. I tied the leftover tails into a final double knot and cut the yarn to wrap things up, hiding everything neatly out of sight in the back. Alternatively, you can always weave in your ends and cut them if you prefer. I also use my hands to gently shape the bottom of the tails, giving them a cute, stylized curl right at the ends. Our vase is already half filled from earlier, so now we can go ahead and add our flower stems, pushing them right down into the stuffing. Next, add some more stuffing around them to pack the stems tightly and lock them securely into position. I also position the leaves right at the top of the vase to help hold everything in shape. If you want some extra stability, you can always drop a heavy stone or marble right into the bottom of your vase to keep it from tipping over. Thanks for watching. You've got this.